Hello! This is the next theory video. Earlier than promised. A lot earlier than promised. So, when I was clearing chapter 8, I seen the line, "Never speak that language to me again. The age of Gaul is over. Never again will that language be used to communicate between countries. Not a city of theirs remains." And this made me think, what language do they speak at Rose Island? I always seen Ursus this, or Sargon that, but I never really thought about it. This, of course, sent me down a rabbit hole, so I did what I do best. I looked at character art. I looked at everyone for several different things. Their clothing, and if I found some letters on it, I moved on to note what country they were from. When possible, I referenced their real names. I looked into every instance I could remember of seeing a random other language. Lastly, I looked at the world's countries and their real-life counterparts and tried to determine what language they spoke. First, I will talk about what countries speak what language, since some of them are very easy and lots of easy examples to go with, while others had almost nothing to go on. I'll start with the most controversial one. Ursus speaks Russian. Whoa, whoa, whoa now. Put down your pitchforks and torches. Let me drop the next one. Yen speaks Chinese. Okay, now you can go crazy. Jokes aside, they have the most information to them by far. And fun fact, Ursus Student Self-Governing Group has their name written in their icon in Russian, and it translates to Ursus Self-Leveraged Student Union. And I'm crazy, and I took the time to write out all the kanji with a mouse in Lugman Guard Department just to find out it translates to Lugman Guard Bureau. Back to the matter at hand. Hingashi is Japanese. This is based off of the names. Lady Fumizuki, or July, and her bodyguard, Shirayuki, White Snow. Akafuyu, or Red Winter, and Suzerain, or Lily of the Valley. Aw, that's a pretty name. You can even tell they're Japanese based just off of Google Translate. Like if I take the time to type out Shirayuki, I end up with White Snow right away, but if I try to type out something that's definitely not Japanese at all, like, I don't know, Smith, it doesn't even fully translate all the letters to it. Just a side note, I asked a friend who speaks Japanese to make sure those translations were at least somewhat close, and they are. Casimir is Polish. Zofia is just Polish Sophia. Młynar, which has the L with a little line through it, pronounced similar to the English W. Also, Casimir has 3 branches of government, one of which is called the Adeptus
Sprawiedliwi.
Casimir, or to obtain righteous Casimir, which makes sense for the military/law enforcement branch. Victoria is English, UK English to be exact, while Columbia is North American English, and Billington is possibly Aussie English. If you're wondering why the split, well, Hibiscus says the word rubbish instead of trash, which would suggest UK English. Cruz from Billington says mate, a common phrase for both UK and Aussie English. You can find other similar examples with many of the other operators from Billington, but I couldn't find any shrimp on the bobby level of examples. Emperor from Columbia nicknamed a sidearm Little Homie. Now, as a native English speaker, I should say that this game is Chinese, and from my understanding, translated by a non-native English speaker. I can't find the article I read about it, though. This is why this part would be almost impossible to get fully accurate, at least to the detail to be able to split UK and Aussie English apart. Now the harder ones, that have little to no information to go on other than the country they are based on and like 1 or 2 lines. Minos is Greek. It has a different script than, quote, common. Siracusa is Italian, Gambino and Capone being Italian names. That's my 6th take. Kajirag is Nepali. This is based on the real-world counterpart alone. If you don't take that into consideration, it would most likely be English or Polish based on the surrounding countries if it didn't have its own language. Leitania is German. Eyjafjalla's name is Adele Neumann. That last name's German. I skimmed the Twilight of Wundermann real quick and found a couple other German-based names. Bolivar and Iberia are Spanish, possibly Portuguese. Siesta is likely Spanish or English. Not much info there. Thorn says destreza, which is Spanish for skill or dexterity. Sammy is, well, I'm not sure. It could be anyone of the Scandinavian languages. I'm not really quite sure. I translated all of the operators' names, and none of those made much sense, and I didn't find anything else that really pointed to much. There's not much info on the country in general, so I'm just going to call it with that. Lastly is Sargonian. This could be Arabic, because from my understanding, Arabic has very distinct dialects that at times can stop two people from being able to communicate properly. Thus, the non-standard Sargonian and standard Sargonian. This is the issue of taking 2¼ continents and cramming them into one country lore-wise. You end up having a hard time telling what's what. Now, I did see that someone theorized that standard Sargonian is South African English, and that is a possibility. In fact, I would say Sargonian may not have a direct translation to a real-world language. The area is just too big and diverse to pin one down. And I have no good info for this, but Laterano is Latin. Mic drop. The last one is Casdal. I don't have a clue. The information about the window, for those of you who know what I mean, I'm not saying the name, it could be Native American, but that's just that train of thought. Nothing else really comes after that. It could be Latin based off of some of the names. I jokingly thought, well, clearly it's D&D's Infernal, because, you know, they're devils. I would almost say that last one's probably the closest, simply because it probably doesn't have a real-world counterpart. There's so little information on it that it's hard to pin anything down that's concrete. Now, so I'm going to be doing this video in 2 parts. This video is, well, it feels very long to record at least. And this is my second attempt at making it. I actually had slapped all this together in about 24 hours, and that was a mistake because it felt rushed. It didn't seem right, and I didn't get all the information I had gathered down. And so I just wanted to make it shorter to be easier to digest overall. Thank you for watching. Special shout out to Kaiser MLG for putting my last video in his community tab. I would not have been as driven as I was to make this video at this pace. Thank you for all of your support in general. I mean, my channel sextupled. That's 6 times. It got 6 times bigger in a week. That's amazing. Thank you all. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you next time.